knew I was gonna make it. I was like, whatever, like, I'm the best. Like, it is.
She had the look, she had the sound, she had the momentum. In 2011, Azealia Banks didn't arrive in the music world, she detonated into it. With her hit single 212, Banks ushered in a tidal wave of new energy into hip-hop and electronic music. It was raw, bold, and full of attitude. The kind of song that forced you to pause mid-scroll and wonder, who is this? And just like that, a star was born.
I was in the 212 on the uptown A, nigga, you know what's up or don't you? Where the who made ya? I'm a rude bitch, nigga, what are you made of? I'ma eat your food up, dude, I can bust your eight, I'm a 212, fuck you come do. When you do make bucks, I'ma look right, nigga, better.
The numbers supported the buzz. 212 not only remained underground, it went number 7 in Ireland, number 12 in England, and number 14 in the Netherlands. Europe welcomed her like she was the next big thing, and truthfully, she was. The critics raved about her lyricism and blend of house beats and rap verses. She was clever, she was innovative, she was distinct, and the industry was hungry for distinct. Major labels sat up and took notice. Fashion houses knocked on her door. Magazines wanted her on the covers. It seemed Azealia Banks was going to dominate the 2000s tens. But just when the world was hers to lose, she made one huge error. Not musically, not fashionably, but personally. What began as a means of connecting with people quickly became the very tool she employed to derail her own steam. It was the raw access, the spontaneous energy, the failure, or perhaps refusal, to press delete. The more liberation social media offered her, the more disorderly the outcome grew. She publicly feuded, she tweeted provocatively, she exchanged blows with fans, celebrities, and even her own fans. Eventually, it wasn't about the music anymore. It was about her mouth, or more accurately, her keyboard. Let's discuss the turning point moment. In May 2016, Azealia Banks clashed with former One Direction star Zayn Malik. What started as a rant about perceived musical similarities devolved into a profanity-laced, racist, and homophobic diatribe. Her tweets attacked Zayn with exceedingly hurtful language, words no performing artist with a public voice should ever type. The backlash was swift. Her Twitter account was suspended. She was disowned by fans. The media shredded her. And in a major professional setback, she was removed from the Born and Bred Festival in London, where she had been due to perform. It wasn't a one-off meltdown, it was part of an existing pattern. Azealia had already accumulated a long list of online disputes. Struggles with Iggy Azalea, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, Lana Del Rey, Cardi B, and Sky Jackson. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Every scandal put another mark on her reputation. But the Zayn Malik debacle was different, more massive, tougher to recover from. Then 2019 arrived. Azealia, while visiting Ireland, engaged in a fight that resulted in another social media tempest. This time, she directed her tirade at the Irish people in general. She used ethnic insults. She ridiculed the country's Great Famine, which has been one of the most sorrowful episodes in Irish history. Folks were horrified, upset, and for the second time, it was a portion of the world that had initially welcomed 212 who now turned their backs in full force. She wasn't losing supporters, she was torching bridges to whole nations. And backstage, the wreckage was mounting. Her UK booking agency canceled her. Her performances were scrapped. Promoters cut her out. Managers wouldn't take her calls. The music business is ruthless, but it's also careful. Nobody wants to be associated with an artist who's unstable, raw, and always in the news for all the wrong reasons. Her name became synonymous not with music, but with scandal. And it's tragic because the music, still great, still edgy, still innovative. Her debut album, Broke with Expensive Taste, finally released in 2014 after label drama, was a critical success. It was eclectic, confident, and full of personality. Songs like Ice Princess, Chasing Time, and Heavy Metal and Reflective proved that she wasn't a one-hit wonder. She had range, but none of that mattered anymore. Because every time she released a song, a controversy followed. Every time she released a project, she still had fans discussing her latest tirade or going viral. In a wicked irony, her online popularity started to overshadow her true talent. And then there was the video. 2021. Azealia shared a video of her excavating the remains of her dead cat and boiling the bones, subsequently stating that it was for a spiritual ritual. She spoke of witchcraft, and though her fans attempted to spin her methods as being connected to African spirituality, the web wasn't buying it. It was stupefying to many. It was sickening. Evidence that Azealia had gone too far to come back from. Tabloids went haywire. Twitter blew up. The jokes rolled in quickly. But beneath the memes was a strong feeling of unease. Fans who used to cheer for her now felt like they were seeing a live stream of someone losing it. Nevertheless, she persevered. Azealia released music on her own terms, teasing several projects. She hinted at films, television, new albums. But the issue wasn't her work ethic, it was her public persona. And here's the ugly truth. The music industry doesn't sell music. It sells humans. It sells brands. And Azealia Banks, as talented as she is, had become too unmarketable. She had too many headlines, too many receipts, too many apologies that came with more drama. And let's be real, fans are tolerant up to a point. They've forgiven artists for cheating scandals, violence, and even criminal accusations. But what they never forget, behavioral patterns, particularly when those patterns include racism, homophobia, and violence against entire groups. It wasn't that folks didn't want her to succeed, it was that she made it nearly impossible to support her. Her tale is the ultimate cautionary tale of the internet age. We live in an era where artists are expected to be authentic, but also polished, real, but not reckless, relatable, but respectful. It's a hard balance, but it's one every public figure has to navigate. Azealia leaned too hard into being raw and real, and forgot the responsibility that comes with a platform. And in doing so, she exposed the dark side of digital fame. The same platforms that launched her to fame became the platform for her demise. She wasn't canceled by a single individual or a single entity. She was canceled by years of controversy, piled on top of one another until even the most dedicated of fans raised their hands in the air and said, "We can't defend this anymore." And yet you can't discuss her without addressing what's beneath it all. Azealia Banks is genius. She's quick, funny, and talented musically. She possesses one of the most distinctive voices in hip-hop, literally and aesthetically. She opened doors for all those alt-rap chicks making experimental, edgy stuff nowadays. And she hasn't hesitated to expose industry racism, sexism, and hypocrisy. But her message was lost in her methods. Because sure, speaking truth to power is crucial, but so is knowing when to quit. And Azealia didn't let up. Not when the criticism began. Not when the bookings slowed. Not when the headlines turned darker. So where is she now? Some still think she can come back, that if she releases a hit, apologizes truly, and stays out of sight for a while, the world will remember the artist, not the scandal. But even if she releases the greatest album of her career tomorrow, it will have to battle through decades of din just to be heard. Others think her moment is gone, that she's opted for the chaos rather than the craft for far too long, that the industry and the public simply care no more. So what do you believe? Is Azealia Banks a lost cause, or a misunderstood genius with a chance at redemption? Leave your opinions in the comments. Can she really pull off a comeback, or is it done forever? Like, share, and subscribe if you want more in-depth explorations of the rise, fall, and fallout of pop culture giants.